Good morning, beautiful people. It's time to wake up, and guess what? It's early in the morning. It's 6 a.m. This morning is on. We're alive. We're feeling great. I
Definitely.
have Kenson Casmi here with me. How are you
I'm
today?
fine. How are you?
I'm doing good, and he is family here with us at DBS. So, it's this whole family circle going on right now.
Definitely.
Now,
Definitely.
Kenson is here because, I was so excited for you, and even
Mm-hmm.
more so, everybody knows that the ARC rally has kicked off. It's in full gear. Of course, I know boats are already coming into St. Lucia,
They're on the
but
way. Mm-hmm.
you, some of these boats you probably know because you were in Las Palmas where it all begins. That's the
Mm-hmm.
same day that we have our symbolic, flotilla going on here in St. Lucia. But, whilst we were down here, somebody was over there.
Yes,
So
I
we get in
was.
the inside scoop right now. So, Kenza, first of all, what was that experience like for you?
All right. Good morning, Saint Lucia. Definitely, it was an experience I will never forget. First of all, I definitely met a lot of new friends, a lot of sailors, and the sailors were as young as 15, 16, all the
Wow.
way up to, as I said, forever. Some of them are bringing along their kids for the journey, wondering how they will cope with that, but they seemed excited about it. And most people seemed so enthused about getting on St. Lucia shores and tasting a particular rum. One rum came up time after time after time,
Oh, really?
and I was Chairman's Reserve.
All
I
right.
did heard about Chairman's. Don't ask me how or
How?
where. I'm not somebody who's big on alcohol, but they seem to have really heard about Chairman's and they're excited. They are on their way. They're going to be here very very soon, and I want to see some of the reaction when they get that first sip because they were talking about it just too
Too
much.
much.
Yes.
Wow. Now because sometimes we're here and then we wonder why these people fuss over the island. But when we are here and we live here, we marinate in and everything every single day. It may not be so wowing to us.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see, some of the little things we don't even look at that people freak out for. So what was it like back there? What was the preparations like, the energy from everybody?
It was kind of grueling for me because of the time difference, and my entire life I've had problems with sleep,
All right.
and that did not help.
Oh boy.
So the trip was quite taxing, on me for that reason. But once I got into the flow of things, I realized that there were just so many amazing stories, so many stories that persons who had their bucket lists, and to see St. Lucia on persons' bucket lists, to actually get to St. Lucia, get to the shores of St. Lucia, see the pitons, it was quite amazing for me. And there's some individuals who had stories like this guy who found out he had cancer a couple of months ago. Decided he was going to fight it, and he quit his job and decided he's going to be sailing. And one of the islands he wanted to see was definitely St. Lucia.
Wow.
We had some other stories of the youngest guy who is 16. He's the captain on the ship. His father passed the ship down to him, the boat down to him, and he has his crew, a group of young men. They want to go out when they come to St. Lucia.
Oh boy.
The other thing about Las Palmas is, for an island, it is very well developed.
Now,
Very well developed.
not to cut you short, I'm so happy you said that
Mm.
because my next question to you is going to be, and we can fit that in. So we're giving a little geography, okay, St. Lucia. So for anybody who doesn't know, because we keep saying Las Palmas loosely, but of course I'm sure there's some of us who didn't know. Before the ARC rally and myself learning of it, I didn't even know Las Palmas existed. So, give us a little heads up as to where on the globe we can find.
It is right off the coast of Africa, right off the coast. It is a Spanish territory colonized by Spain, and it's 2,700 nautical miles. That is the distance they have to travel to get to St. Lucia. So to put that in perspective, for those who are doing the cruising, because it's the Atlantic Rally for cruisers, and
Right.
there are racers. So those who will be cruising, who have no ambition of getting to St. Lucia first, will take in excess of 18 days to get here.
Now, before we wrap up, this is so interesting. Before we wrap up, right? Symbolically here in St. Lucia, we have the Arc Flotilla. Everybody knows it, loves it for the lime and whatnot. But again, as we said when we introed, this is symbolic to the races starting over in Las Palmas. So on that day, when it started, like, what was it like just before? And how does it go down?
That's a very good question because it was, you have those expectations. The night before, you get a scope of what the landscape is, and then before you go to bed, you envision what's going to happen and that sort of thing. And then when I got there, to my amazement, it was totally different. we pretty much had to go through strict security on the naval base. We had to be accompanied by actual soldiers that seemed to be part of the army and that sort of stuff. We had to bring our passports on because we were going, and the maritime laws are very strict, so we were going on to this navy ship. That was the first thing I experienced. I actually saw the big guns and that sort of thing, so that was amazing. I never thought that would have happened. And then when we started drifting into the sea, the island got smaller and we went all the way out. And then because we had to get a vantage point, and then we saw all the boats pretty much coming together, like just slowly. It happened so slowly, but yet so quickly, like just coming and lining up. And it's just amazing to see how they actually line up.
Wow.
And the countdown begins, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and there's just no bus because it's a boat, but
Yes.
it's just so exciting to see how it develops. So it was really a sight to see.
Wow. Now you see, I'm so happy because it's not the first time we followed ARC last year. You guys know we're very much involved. We brought you Flotilla Action. So it's good that we had our people there, giving us the inside scoop. So Kenson, thank you very much. Listen, not now trying to get this man on my show,
So busy.
I have to give you power for that.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's good vibes, good love. And Kenson, thank you for that insider because now I have a better perspective because you talk about it and, if you're not there to see what's happening over there, until recently I found out that, we are actually mimicking what was happening there. So
Yeah.
now we have another piece of the puzzle there. So if we've never traveled to Las Palmas, now you know where it is. So the ARC energy is up. Make sure you check out the activities. I mean, IGY Marina is buzzing and there's always something happening. Some of the boats have already started coming in from the ARC Plus, etc. So with that said, you guys, there's so much to do this December. ARC is one of it at the top of the list. And of course, you keep following us here on This Morning, and of course you got to check out Kenson because he has his show with us. So
Definitely on Monday nights.
all right, so Monday nights, you know where you got to be as well
Yes,
too.
after the news.
All right, so
Definitely.
Kenson, thank you so much.
Thank you
And
for
St.
having me.
Lucia, I hope you thoroughly enjoyed that, and we'll keep bringing you more. Good morning to you, St. Lucia. Many, many greetings, and I hope each and every one of you are feeling good today. As you can see, it is a very special show today, and I have a special guest. I think he's an honorary St. Lucian already, and you know him. I don't think he needs an introduction, and I'm pleased to have on set with me today, John Hogan. And St. Lucia, we know you love your country music, so welcome back to St. Lucia. How are you today?
Thank you, Sheila. I'm delighted. I'm in great form, and it is like being home.
Yes.
I've spoken about this. I probably would be the best advertisement that St. Lucia could ever have. Because
I think
no
so
matter
too.
where I go in the world, people associate me with St. Lucia.
And you know what, St. Lucia, if you think this is just fluff and we're saying that just all for the thrill and excitement, I mean, if you go on the internet, if somebody goes and Googles and they want to find out who John Hogan is and you pick up the Wikipedia, in there you're going to see St. Lucia associated because I saw it with my own eyes
Yes.
too.
I remember the first time I came down here, and I've spoken about this on many, many radio stations and many television shows. What struck me about St. Lucia, the difference in the simplicity, the humility, the genuine warmth, the caring. There's so many words that I can't, there are not enough of them in my vocabulary just to express the people that they were. I felt totally in love with the people. And I mean that, like they're not just idle words.
Yeah.
They were just so lovely to me. And I just thought, God bless them, I want to stay with you. But that was the feeling that I had. And I'm 30 years in the business this year. And, the highlight of my career has always been that association with the St. Lucians. And when I stepped off the plane, it's like something just clicks there. I'm home.
Yes.
The second home. That's
Yes.
what it feels like to me. Now, it's not, I never speak except when it comes from my heart. You know what I mean? I would never be disingenuous and say anything that I wouldn't mean. But I just adore the people of St. Lucia.
And I know St. Lucians because you came here to do your show, which passed over the weekends. I know plenty of you watching today were at it as well, and everybody was looking forward to that. So, having you back here on the soil is amazing. And I think most of your fans who are watching today, let's talk about, your story with country music, your love affair with that. How did you get into country
Well, you see,
music?
when there's a long, long story, Catherine. You and I wouldn't have. Would we have a time enough to go through it? I don't think so. You know, my passion for country music was always there with me because at home there was always music in the house. You know, it was always music. It was traditional Irish music. When I was growing up, it was Beatles thing.
Ah,
The Beatles were big at the time, and all of that era of 60s music. There was so many, the Trogs and so many of those, which I thought were lovely. They were melodic, a lot more melodic than the bands of today, I thought. So I had to pretend I loved them all, and I did like them, but I didn't love them. My real passion was country music. But anyway, to make a long story short, I borrowed some money, and I went and I make a demo tape. I didn't know anything about studios or singing or anything else like that, but I knew a few songs that I had. I said, I'm going in to try this. And I recorded, I never forget the day I recorded that anyway, but to make a long story short, when I heard it, I said, oh God, it's hard to believe this is me, like I'm singing on it. And it was on a cassette tape, that'll tell you how ancient that was now. But anyway, at that time I knew where the radio station was, but you couldn't get into them because they would be taken off the air if they knew,
Right.
So I waited till I was sat outside for an hour and a half waiting for somebody to leave the door open, which they did eventually. And I barged in and I got the door open. And I went up to this guy, Don Allen was his name. And he looked at me and he said, what are you doing here? Who are you? He said. So I said, I'm the guy who was ringing you. I said, I'm ringing you about this. I don't believe it, he says. And I said, will you have a listen to that? And it was good enough, maybe you give it a play, And he says, oh, I'll have a listen to it, he says, because he was raging. I got in there,
Yes.
But he was good. In fairness to him, he was good. So I was going home in this little old car of mine. And lo and behold, he played Brown Eyes. Brown Eyes was the first song I recorded. Well, I nearly drove out across the hedge. I didn't forget it. Me on the radio, me on the radio.
Yeah.
So, from that, and I say from that crude recording, it went wild, really went wild. And the rest of it is history, as I say. There was so many things happened.
Wow, I know everybody normally has their backstory. I would have never imagined your story would go something like that, but that was really interesting, and it just shows if you weren't that persistent, then it would not have come to life for you.
No, but I always say to people, no matter what it is you want to do in life, believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself, and I never stopped believing that it would happen, as in not to be this or that, and I reiterate that. I'm not about being anything special, but it's just to be involved in music to that extent where you can go and record, where you can sing and make people happy. The difference you make in people's lives.
And you can actually feel that genuineness. This is my first time meeting you in person. I've known your music. I think like Stepping Stone was like is still one of the biggest songs. Like every Sunday here, country and western just takes over the radios, and that's how people love it. But as you speak, I could feel the passion for your music. As you speak, I can feel your genuineness for what you're saying. And then it's really nice because I love how humble you are. And like I said, this is my first time meeting you, and just, there's no frill to it, nothing major. It's just, this is you, this is what you love, and you are a big deal with your music, but still you are very, very humble, and I think that's a great attribute.
I do appreciate your words, but I don't, and I say this genuinely. I always say this. I met a guy this morning, and he was out, he was cutting the hedge where I'm staying, and he was talking to me. But I did say, and I do say, I don't see the difference in you and me. I'd be cutting the hedge at home. I'm no different. I sing, and I'm grateful for the gift of being able to sing, really grateful for it. And, just that love of music. Oh my God, I just love it. I sit with a guitar at home, a little shed at the back of the house, and I'm singing away and I'm writing away. I'm so happy with music,
Right,
and life is about, I always say this, and this is something that I would always like to throw out to people, and certainly young people, the most important word that I think we have ever could use in your life and in your vocabulary is simplicity. And if you adopt that word in all its format, you will never go too far wrong.
Great. Well, St. Lucia, my morning show. We here at DBS, we're all a family. And of course, we've just added to our family right here, right now. And of course, John Hogan was here. This is Positive Words. We give you inspiration. So I think this is a great way to start the morning. You know, we always like to throw out something that we can live with, go by. So I think it's a great mantra that we can adopt and remember that word simplicity. And of course, keep showing the love. We thank you very much for being here with us. I swear I'm so honored that I'm able to do this interview with you. And again, it's just reminding me again that we all need to remain humble, and there's so much to give thanks for our struggles, everything that we've been through. I mean, your story is definitely testimony to that, and I'm so grateful you've able to come back here to St. Lucia, come back home again. Yeah. So, you know, we look forward to you being here again. You know, you're always welcome. You're welcome here at DBS, your family. And let's just leave on this great note. It's all about positivity, keeping it simple, and staying humble. And of course, if you're a music lover, we do it for the love of music as well. Thank you so much for being here.
Kelcha, thank you for the opportunity to talk to you. I really mean it. It's been very special.
Thank you so much as well.
I wish you every goodness.
Thank you.
And to all of those people out there, thank you from